Welcome to the Weekly Option, the podcast for people interested in trading stock options. Each week, we cover trade ideas and opportunities in the stock market right now. Whether you're a beginner, a professional, or just curious about options, this is the show for you. Let's get started. Welcome to the Weekly Option. This is episode 396 on October the 9th, 2025. I'm your host, Eric, and in this week's show, we'll cover the trades from last week on Bit Digital, Ondas Holdings, and Alcoa Corporation, and we discuss three new trades on Plug Power Inc., TeraWulf Inc., and Cleveland Cliffs. Now, it's always great to hear from listeners. If you have any questions about the trades presented here on the show or even about your own positions, feel free to email me. You can email questions to eric@theweeklyoption.com. That's ERIC@theweeklyoption.com. I've also created a few videos to teach you all the basics of option trading that you'll need to know to be able to follow along with me on this show. You can visit our website and click on the videos tab to watch them, or visit the YouTube channel for the Weekly Option. Now, today's show is being recorded early due to some planned travel. I didn't want to let anything come up, no possibility of missing the week. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive in early. All prices on today's show will use end-of-day pricing from Thursday, October the 9th. The Dow Jones Industrial Average has lost 399 points so far this week, closing on Thursday at 46,358 points. The S&P 500 index has gained 19 points, closing at 6,735 points on Thursday, October 9th. Now it's time for the topic of the week. The topic of the week is confused by the Greeks. How many of you guys are confused by the Greeks? No, I'm not talking about the people of a country or the mythological gods like Zeus. I am talking about option Greeks. I just met with a very intelligent man who has paid several thousands of dollars in option coaching prices, only to be confused by the Greeks. I don't blame him. The Greeks are confusing. A lot of coaches teach that you have to use the delta of an option to decide whether to buy or sell it. But then you're worried about the gamma and the vega and rho. Rho is scary too. Don't let that rho get you. The truth of the matter is that the only time option Greeks matter is if you are hedging your options with stock when you trade them. If you're selling stock every time you buy a call or buying stock every time you buy a put, then the Greeks matter. For most retail investors, that is not the goal. Most retail investors are making directional trades on stock price. Even if you are counting on stock not moving, that is still a directional trade on stock price. My entire thesis is that you can learn options without the Greeks. That's why I don't discuss them on the show. You can enter trades that have limited risk or even unlimited risk without understanding the Greeks. The Greeks are nothing more than mathematical equations that are meant to help you better understand an option's theoretical price. Delta is the first movement of price. Gamma is the second movement of price. Skew is the third movement of price. Said another way, delta is the first derivative of the option pricing model. How many of you guys are using calculus to trade options? I'll tell you right off the bat, I do not, at least not anymore. If you are still struggling to find trades using the Greeks, send me an email. Your first therapy session can start immediately. I can help you fall back in love with options, and your trading results will likely show it. That's what happened to me, and I'm sure it'll happen to you too. So let's go ahead and dive into the trades from last week. We're going to start off with the covered call on Bit Digital, symbol B as in Bravo, T as in Tango, B as in Bravo, T as in Tango. At the time, the stock was trading for $3.50 per share. I looked at buying stock and selling the October 4 call at 20 cents, hoping for a return of 20% in 2 weeks. Well, shares of Bit Digital are up 51 cents through Thursday, closing at $4.01 per share. The call option we sold is up 15 cents, leaving us with a net profit of 36 cents if we were to close the trade out immediately. Now, that's a $36 return on $330 of capital in less than a week. Not too bad if you wanted to close the trade. Of course, if the stock closes at or above $4 per share at expiration, we stand to walk away with the $70 profit. Clearly, this trade is working out so far. No adjustments are needed, but all bets are off on expiration week with most of these trades. Locking in profit certainly isn't a bad thing. The other thing to consider is that premiums in the month of November look pretty good too. If the stock were to head lower or close below $4 per share in a week, you will still likely be able to sell another out-of-the-money call option against the same shares that you already bought, which would make this trade even more profitable. So no adjustments are needed at this point. The trade is working out, so let's let it keep working. Next up, we did a credit spread on Ondas Holdings, symbol O as in Oscar, N as in November, D as in Delta, S as in Sierra. At the time, the stock was trading for $9.91 per share. I looked at selling the October 9.5/9 put spread at 20 cents. That could give us a maximum possible loss of 30 cents per spread. Well, shares of Ondas Holdings grew 58 cents, closing on Thursday at $10.49 per share. The out-of-the-money put spread that we sold is now even more out of the money. With prices going higher, we are more hopeful the trade will expire out of the money next week, which is great. So no adjustments are needed on this trade so far. You'll definitely want to keep an eye out on the stock price during expiration week, which is next week, and be prepared to protect your trade by making it an iron condor if necessary. Our final trade from last week was a debit spread on Alcoa Corporation, symbol A as in Alpha, A as in Alpha. At the time, the stock was trading for $34.50 per share. I looked at buying the October 34.5 call spread for 32 cents. That could give us a maximum gain of 18 cents, or that would be a 56.25% return in 2 weeks. Well, shares of Alcoa jumped $2.50 so far, closing on Thursday at $37 per share. The in-the-money call spread that we bought is now even deeper in the money. And with 1 week left until expiration, this trade has gone exactly as planned. If the stock is above $34.50 per share when the market closes next Friday, October 17th, we'll get to capture that full 56% return on capital for 2 weeks of risk. It doesn't get any better than that. Now, I like the sounds of that. No adjustments are needed. I'll definitely need to keep track of stock prices between now and then in case I need to protect the trade. And just always know that if you have risk on, meaning you have a position on, options are not set it and forget it. Sometimes you need to manage that trade. So if you have risk on until the stock price expires, until the option really expires for the month, you have risk on. You definitely want to keep track of the underlying stock price just to make sure the trade is going the way you hoped. So that's it for the review of last week's trades. As noted earlier, today's podcast is being recorded using end-of-day prices on Thursday, October 9th. We are 1 week away from October expiration on October 17th, so this upcoming week is expiration week for October. All new trades on today's show will use the November 21st expiration date for monthly options in the month of November. So that being said, let's dive into our first trade, which is going to be the covered call. I'm looking at Plug Power Inc., symbol P as in Papa, L as in Lima, U as in Uniform, and G as in Golf. The stock closed on Thursday at $3.78 per share. I'm looking at buying stock and selling the November 4 call at 67 cents, hoping for a return of 23.54% in 6 weeks. Now you enter this trade by buying stock for $3.78 per share and selling the November 4 call at 67 cents. This trade makes the most money if stock prices finish above $4 per share. The break-even price is $3.11. And in real terms, the stock purchase will require $378 and you would collect $67 for selling the option. Next up, we have a credit spread on TeraWulf Inc., symbol W as in whiskey, U as in uniform, L as in Lima, F as in foxtrot. The stock has closed on Thursday at $13.59 per share. I'm looking at selling the November 12/11 put spread at 34 cents. That could give us a maximum possible loss of 66 cents per spread. Now you enter this trade by selling the November 12 put at $1.01 and concurrently buying the November 11 put for 67 cents. This is a credit spread because we are selling the spread, and this trade makes the most money if stock prices expire above $12 per share. The break-even price is $11.66. In real terms, you would receive $34 per spread that you sell and have $66 at risk. And then our final trade on the week is going to be a debit spread on Cleveland Cliffs Inc., symbol C as in Charlie, L as in Lima, F as in Foxtrot. The stock closed on Thursday at $14.18 per share. I'm looking at buying the November 13-14 call spread for 59 cents. That could give us a maximum gain of 41 cents, or that's a 69.49% return on capital in 6 weeks. You enter this trade by buying the November 13 call for $2.14 and concurrently selling the November 14 call at $1.55. This is a debit spread because we are buying the spread, and this trade makes the most money if stock prices expire above $14 per share. The break-even price on this trade is $13.59 per share. In real terms, you'll pay $59 to enter the spread, and your maximum gain is $41 per spread. So that's it for this week's show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for allowing me to post the show a day early. Hopefully that doesn't screw anything up or make you guys too frustrated. But if you need any help or have any questions, feel free to email me. I do respond to my email eventually. But I'm going to have a great weekend. I hope you guys have a great weekend too. So enjoy yourselves. And as always, happy trading. Welcome to the Weekly Option, the podcast for people interested in trading stock options. Each week, we cover trade ideas and opportunities in the stock market right now. Whether you're a beginner, a professional, or just curious about options, this is the show for you. Let's get started.